Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? This is Patty. I hope everybody's doing good out there. I am actually just sitting down and decided to do a live about the collective for the end of the month. So I was going to do this actually tomorrow, but something told me to do it today. So I always follow through with what the intuition and stuff is. So I hope you guys are doing good. For those of you, if you're watching, thank you for joining my channel. I'm a new channel, so it's really a pleasure to be able to hopefully have you on and maybe answer some of your questions. So everything has been just going crazy with all the moon energies and everything like that. So for those of you, this is a collective for everyone. I was thinking about doing a collective for each fire, water, earth, and I have to think there, fire, water, earth, and air. A little tired today, but I'm not quite sure if I'll do that yet. We'll see. It depends on what the divine wants to do. So I came on, and the reason why I think I came on is because we had a full moon here on August 2nd. Yesterday was considered the Lion's Gate. And we're now going into actually coming from a full moon, getting ready to go into the new moon. So energies are really actually changing a lot. So what that means for you is that energies are starting to shift towards the beginning of the moon. Usually it's all hyping up, like good energies, new inspirations, new ideas, that kind of thing. You get to the full moon and you're at the height. Okay, yes, I'm really going to have these energies and feelings to do all this stuff. And then it gradually, before the new moon, it gradually starts to get to the point where you're getting all this stuff. Now you have to release a little bit. And you sometimes get overwhelmed of all these energies that are beginning to change to get back to the full moon, or the new moon, where your energies are sort of drained because you've done everything that you need to do. So you've started up, you've released some things that you needed to release to get the things going that you wanted to get going, or the relationships that you wanted to get, or the love life you wanted to get, or could be everything. And then you get back to the new moon. So for those of you that are, only watch your own signs, it's been actually a very interesting month because there is a lot of learning, a lot of growing in all the signs. So a lot of healing. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe how much healing for all the signs in the beginning of the month. There was a lot of letting go for some people, a lot of letting go. And that's a good thing because then we get the new doors to open up. So this last couple of weeks, the first part of August, was a lot of where, up to the full moon, things were beginning to sort of rev up, change up. We have to get to that point where we can actually grow ourselves in a process. And believe it or not, the moon has a lot of effect on us, more than what we actually think. Because if you think of the tides, the ocean tides, it comes and goes, right? So it comes and goes, and it brings in good things onto the sand, and then it takes it back out again. And sometimes it leaves stuff. So if you look at the tides, it could sort of reflect the way that our lives are. So as the new moon begins to cycle to the full moon, and the full moon cycle to the new moon, you can see sort of things pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling into our lives. Sometimes we have to let go and take hold of new stuff, let go and take hold of new stuff. And so that's where we're at right now, because as of the 2nd, we had a full moon. So now we're going into what's called the waning moon. And we actually want to get to the new moon, at least not totally unscathed, or, oh my goodness, really, unscathed, at least have some energy when we get there, right? All right. So I just thought I would come and do a collective for the next couple of weeks. So remember, we're in the waning moon. So if things begin to get overwhelming, please don't allow that. To just take a deep breath and just say, hey, this is part of the process. what do I got to let go to make this, or release, or give it to the universe or the divine to actually let them work it out, let it all work out. And that will bring you to more of a peaceful place, more of a, I can get through this to the next moon or to the new moon kind of thing. But it's actually a good time for creating still, because you're still in the planning process. So if you're actually building a business, or you're starting a new career, or even you're in college and you're starting actually as a new college student, these are good times to actually sit there and process and plan and make sure that your ducks are in a row. So when it does come time to this next quarter, when we meet this next quarter, that you can actually say, okay, I don't need this anymore, or I don't need that class, or you know what, this is where I can put this on the back burner and put that on the front burner, and those kind of things. By the time you get to the I call it third quarter, where the waning moon, you're at the waning moon, then basically you can actually know the process where you want to go for the next month. All right, so I've got a couple cards out for, now remember, we're doing this through the 15th through the 31st, and I'll be really interested to see where the energies go for all your signs, because it's been really, it's actually pulled me apart a couple of times if you had one of the signs where it just got pretty emotional, because it's a very, how do you call it, restoring time for a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that are restoring. And so for these next couple of weeks, it's really interesting, because they all go in line. And you know what? This came up in a reading a week ago. 2 of these signs, and maybe all 3 signs, came up in a week ago. Now, I've shuffled these for days and days and days, so I'm really surprised to see these come out. At the time, and I do a little numerology with this too, but there's nothing really with the oracles that I pay attention to that much. So if you look at these, okay, so the first one out is actually the Field of Dreams. And then we have the Magical Map Shifter. And then we have the, oops, wrong one. I always get these backwards. I'll never get it straight. Is the Wizard Awareness. So all this is going forward, and again with the moon, it's actually in line with everything that's actually going on. So we're actually in the process of processing everything, making our plans, our focuses on what our dreams and our goals are going to be. And so the Field of Dreams is literally, what is your dreams? And what are your dreams, and what is it that you're shooting for? Because you have a vast opportunity of many things that you can do in goals. A dream could be just as small as, like saying, I want to skydive. And that might be a dream. Sort of like a bucket list. What's on your bucket list kind of thing? What is going on with that? And what are going on with those energies there? And is it something that you really want to do from the heart, or are you just wanting to do it for whatever, gain attention, or maybe you like somebody and they do it? That kind of thing. And then we have the Magical Shapeshifter, Map Shifter, excuse me. My daughter, she plays games, and I'm just sort of like, sometimes I don't even know. I'm going to read that one, because I'm actually a little tired, so I can't remember that one very well. So the Wizard of Awareness, of course, is really paying attention to that inner self, that inner side of you. And if you notice the light at the top, there's actually excuse me, where the light is, the divine. You want to keep your focused on the spirit, want to keep focused on the energies, what's going on in your energy field, what you're feeling and what you're doing, those kind of things. That's what these next 2 weeks, because sometimes our feelings don't match up with what we do. They shouldn't, actually, because we should never really base everything off of our feelings in what we do. So let me go ahead and read the Magical Map Shifter 52. I've had this one before, and I don't know why I can't remember it. When the magical map, I'm going to keep saying shapeshifter, so I'm really sorry. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. So when the Magical Map Shifter card arrives, it comes with a mission. to make aware of the people who come into your life to impact your personal growth. Again, pretty much the same thing as the Wizard of Awareness. You have to be aware of those kind of things. Perhaps you may meet a soulmate whose presence invites you to be the best you and that you can be, or someone that leads you out, or someone who leads you out of difficulty and into a place of safety and success. Pay attention to those individuals who cross your path today and cause you to reflect on your journey. Be awake and be aware. So, yeah, so we always have people that come across. And here's another thing, too, is that this could also be somebody as a resource. If you're starting a new project, or you need a mentor, or you need some wisdom, or, you just need somebody to help guide you, that could be that person too. So be mindful who's coming in your path. Again, these two definitely go together. Okay, so you being aware, the aware, the Wizard of Aware, that's more of your intuition. That's more of the supernatural side. So that is like your gut, but it's also for us empaths, like I have been really getting awakening. I think that's why I'm a little tired, because I haven't been sleeping very well, but my awakenings are actually visual now, that I can actually see sometimes where the divine actually is, and it's draining, but it's exciting at the same time. It's actually having visions of knowing and feeling some of the presence of where he is, and it's really an amazing feeling. I'm not quite sure what is going on with that, or why he's having me do that. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, of course. You get all kinds of things that are offered there. But it has been really, and I know that each time he begins to awaken me to a new ability, then that is just what he knows I can handle at the time. So again, I'm at the waning period with you guys, but this is actually a time I have to release. I have to release my fear of what he's actually trying to do ahead. If you really sort of look at deja vu, a lot of deja vu lately, and that to me, I don't know where it comes from, and I don't know if it's factual or scientifically proven, but something tells me that this is a dimensional thing that we have, where we actually may have sort of like gone back in time, and we're actually replaying what we did before. And maybe, I don't know. I mean, that part, I have a hard time with that, but I'm beginning to really believe there's dimensions, because sometimes I feel like I've already gone through something, but I might have done it incorrectly. So then now this is the time to do it correctly. So, and that could be a reincarnation thing. It could be a dimension thing. I won't know until I get to the other side. But I do know that the energies that are changing right now are actually, they're awakening, and they're not to be feared. So like here, whatever you're doing, or the people that come into your life, or come to help you, or to be a resource to you, or you to be them. This is a time during the waning period to help them and recognize what they need to release in order to grow something else. So we always have to release something to grow something else, and also to really pay attention if they have gifts and abilities, to actually really pay attention, because they may be starting to awaken even more. And so you're offered so many things with the Wheel of Fortune, so you can actually move forward. Not sure what's going on with this yet for the next couple of weeks, but somebody's feeling a little hurt, left behind, feeling like they're left out. I know that when we look at our energies, and when somebody begins to grow ahead, whether it's their abilities in their awareness or that kind of thing, you feel, it's sort of like somebody posted on my Facebook today, because I belong to some empath Facebook support groups. If you are, you can go to my Patty Hall on Facebook, and the Divine Warrior Intuitive, please join. I would love to see who you guys are. But like one person had posted this picture of a tree, and it was very beautiful on top, and then it was looked like lightning underneath, you know, like a reflection of that tree. And it says a person that speaks 5G can something 5G can no, a 3G person cannot understand 5G or something of that effect. So different levels of our energies. So sometimes when we grow, like I did, people do get left behind. And so it might be something like this nature when you begin to awaken or begin to move forward as an entrepreneur, owning a business. I didn't hang out with a lot of the people that I didn't before. And it wasn't because I didn't want to. It's just that I grew. And you see yourself grow, and you just don't want to go backwards. You want to go forwards. So that's what all this is about, too, is being aware of yourself and understanding where you're at, who you're with, why you're with them, and maybe time for change, time for growth, time for release. This is the time. So, and usually when we release, some people will actually feel like they're left behind. Or if you're in a breakup, somebody's going to get hurt, but you have to, talk about breakup here. So yeah, so we're talking about possibly somebody maybe splitting up. And then maybe actually if there's a third party in that, somebody's going to get hurt. So, but there may be that, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. So this next couple of weeks energies is actually, I feel like it's a time of release and growing. And this is the time to grow, time for balance. So we have the Six of Pentacles, and if you look at the Six of Pentacles, it's a give and take. Somebody, you know, is taking or giving a little bit more than what they should. This is a time to recognize who in your life is throwing your balance off, where they may be either doing too much or not doing enough, or if this is a, you know, a lover or a husband, or if you're getting a new boyfriend, making sure that, you know, maybe you have to both pay each other's parts for a while if the money's not there. Maybe there just has to be a little bit more balance. In relationships, though, you have to know that there's never 100% balance. There never will be, because it's not meant to be. It really isn't. The energies are not meant to be. Yeah. The King of Pentacles, all about getting to that place of harvest, full harvest, all about everything that he has. Very content, very happy, has done his work, his due diligence, has material success kind of thing. Now, it doesn't mean success has to be money or financially, but to some it is. And to some, that's all their energy, where they put it. And it's sad because a lot of the times they don't even think about the value of life and human life until they're older and they're alone. And then they're like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that until, you know, they're in their 50s, 60s, and everybody's either coupled up or they're sitting there like, oh, I don't have anybody. And then they want to hang out with other people that are well on their way. So I know some people like that, and they're like, oh, man, I just, you know, they were so busy worried about money that they lost the boat on everything else. Yeah. Okay, so these two came in upside down. We got Death upside down and the Page of Wands upside down. Okay, so something isn't finished. Something isn't done. But a new beginning is starting here somewhere. Somewhere a new beginning is starting. New beginning is starting, which would make sense, because if we're going into the third quarter, you know, we've been working on starting something new. We've been or something is being offered to us new. Something is, and here's the thing about, you're like, well, nothing's being offered to me and I don't see anything new. Reach into your heart and say, what is it that I've just sort of been really thinking about this a lot? I've really been, that's a seed planted to maybe start doing that, whatever it is, as long as it's in a positive, light manner, and it's actually for good or the better of somebody. Okay, there's that on there. Okay, so I have was I holding these upside down? I was. But those were right, but this is wrong. Okay, so we have the High Priestess, the Hierophant upside down, and then we have the Four of Cups. Now, with the High Priestess, or the Four of Cups was first, High Priestess is second. So with the Four of Cups out, so you are thinking about these things, you are contemplating, and something is a seed. Something is being offered in your mind or in through somebody, or maybe work, or maybe whatever that might be. So you have to sort of look at what it is that your heart desires, because we're in the field of dreams, and the field of dreams is sort of like wide open spaces, or wide open, where you can have what you're looking for, and you can have, and it is reachable. It is reachable. Again, this person that may come in, you might want to use as a resource, whoever is coming in, or you're coming in for somebody. All right. And then we have the Hierophant upside down. So it doesn't mean that Hierophant means if you're upright, that there is some spiritual teaching. There is like mentorship, or somebody like a more spiritual person that might be teaching. Could even be a pastor, or could be somebody inspirational speaker. Could be, even a mom or a family member that actually believes in a higher being or spirit or God or anything like that, but you don't want to hear it, or somebody does not want to hear it. So they're not really in this mode of where you're all about energies and vibrations and spirit and all that kind of stuff. So in the next couple of weeks, sort of pay attention to that, because in this time and being of what we're going through, as far as with the protests, I live in Portland, so with the protests, with the Black Lives Matter, with the elections, all that kind of stuff, some people are just at their limit. So we got to be mindful of where somebody is at their limit in this next couple of weeks, and being able to offer what we can, and understand we need to step back at sometimes, because some people just can't take anymore. They just can't, because maybe their family is going through something as well. Maybe their family is going through COVID. Maybe their family's lost their job and hasn't had an income for, as far as I understand, the unemployment is like at 16 weeks. Can you imagine going without any kind of income for 16 weeks, even though they're trying to find a job or whatever, trying to supply for their family or anything like that? Very stressful, very straining, on top of hearing everything else and what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Almost makes you want to go under the covers and just say, hey, give me a call. But you can't. That's just life. That's just life. And then we have the High Priestess, which I think is very interesting, because the High Priestess is right next to the Hierophant upside down. So there's a little spiritual battle going on here. So I think between somebody here who's watching, there's a spiritual battle. So somebody really believes in God and their partner doesn't, or you believe in a higher being, or you believe in a higher power, you believe in energies, you believe in the universe, whatever it is, that but somebody doesn't. Somebody doesn't. And it's like, I don't want to hear about it. Thank you. Okay, so that's what it is. So it's causing you to think about this. And you have to sort of look at it. We're going into this third we're going into this third quarter as far as the moon, and you have to really start to evaluate. Time is precious. You can't ever get it back, so you got to evaluate what is the best for you. And again, we're being asked in this next couple of weeks to be more aware of everything, from our energies to our feeling, what we're doing, what we're thinking, how we're reacting, and where it's all coming from in our basis. Yeah, the moon's really, really working hard, because this has really been, I live on the West Coast. I went to the beach even just about the time that this month started. And it was just the weirdest feelings, the weirdest energies from the ocean. And I used to scuba dive a lot, so it's really interesting. We got some new, old kind of friendship or relationship, platonic, that might be coming back, or somebody that you haven't thought about or somebody who's actually sort of been on your mind, or maybe they have. Have you ever been where you're like, doing whatever, and just out of the blue, you think about somebody and they call? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. These are not just coincidences. These are energies connecting. These are energies that have already connected. Now, also, too, if you have a spiritual tie, a soul tie with someone, then it is even stronger. So that's why it's really careful to create soul ties, because sometimes those ties stay longer than they should, kind of thing. So if you're single and if you don't know what a soul tie is versus a soul mate, it's a very, very big difference. So if we begin to, and you have to understand the energies and how the energies work, and you're like, oh, you're talking about Christianity. No, these are energies. These are things that connect us and keep us connected. So soul ties, when we lay down with someone, then you actually create a soul tie. So you could have, depending how promiscuous you are, you could have many soul ties. Or if you lay down with one or two, but when you actually have a soul mate, that is where you actually are creating not only emotional ties, but this is actually a divine tie. A soul tie, yes, you're going to actually physically, emotionally, you're going to be connected. But when it comes to a soul mate, there's actually a divine presence that has brought them together, or an energy, if you want to put it, energies, vibrations that have brought them together. It's like the law of attraction. Things attract and are brought together. And that's what a soul mate is. Now, a lot of people say it's a mate for the soul mate, that kind of thing. And then some people say, well, I don't even believe in that. Well, that's between you and the divine, not me. So I believe that we can manipulate our way into relationships. We can manipulate our way into anything that we do. And it's not always good, because if we manipulate it, then actually it doesn't last, because it's not supposed to be. It's a soul tie. It was not even supposed to be. And then soul tie will last for a season and not a lifetime. So, but that is just, that's just the way you look at the way energies work. You have to sort of look at energies like a magnet. You put a negative and a negative, or a positive and positive together, and that's what this is all about. How are you drawing the energies in during that first cycle of the new moon to the full moon? How are you drawing those energies in a positive manner? So this last 2 weeks, how are you actually drawing in the energies to keep whatever it is to move forward here in whatever this is that you're doing? So, or are you actually fighting those energies and bringing in energies that shouldn't be there, and actually lowering your vibrations, lowering your energies to grow whatever it is that you're trying to do. Because some of you are in a spiritual warfare with whoever. Or it's you're like, okay, so I'll give you another example. I had a girlfriend who believed in one form of, I don't call it religion, I call it a faith base. And she also then wanted to and married somebody else from a different faith base. And I'm like, well, even though the Bible might say you're evenly yoked, but the energies is what I'm talking about are not equal. They're not. You've got one person with energies way up here and one person with energies down here. And when this person doesn't want to grow to anywhere, they're happy where they're at, then this is going to stay here, and it's going to be like the positive and the negative. Whereas if you've got both of them and they're willing to compromise and meet in the middle but keep their own, then you may be able to work that out. I don't think that's the case, because I've got these two cards together, and I don't know who this is for. But it's actually the union, even though they want it to happen, isn't a good union. But for others, it may be a good union where there is balancing, because we actually have the Four of Wands, which is about communication and about bringing unity together, about bringing a celebration together. So for some of you, that might be where we're like, hey, let's just talk about this. Let's see what we can do. Because we've got somebody's thinking about it, and somebody's like, I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. I'm just going to let it happen. So these next couple of weeks, you're just going to let the small stuff happen. All right. And then, of course, it's not over for those. If you're going to not sweat the small stuff and let it roll off and let it go and let things just happen the way the divine or the universe or the energies are supposed to go, then that process of the moon coming into the full moon is going to be so much lighter for you, and you won't be so drained and overwhelmed. You just let it flow the way that it's supposed to. So that's where that is. All right. So this is actually a lot. There's a lot of energy in the next couple of weeks for everyone to be mindful of everything around them, being aware of everything, but also being aware of your internal self, of how you're acting, how you're feeling, how you're doing. So maybe pay attention to those things, your energies and what your energies are putting out. And if you're working on a project or working on a relationship, or you're trying to help somebody with that, the resource or the persons that are coming in at this point in time, be mindful of their energies. And if you even want those energies there, because if they're not positive energies, if they're not productive and forward movement energies, then they're not actually helpful, and they're actually more harm, and then your energies and your vibrations can get squashed. All right. But there is somebody is coming forward thinking of you, or you're thinking of them, and may come forward either in an email, Facebook, maybe a letter. Well, they don't do letters much anymore, right? So I'm just aging myself, that's all. So somebody is going to reach out. So, and maybe this is the person that actually is going to help you with whatever that is that you're doing. So if you're single, you have just got to let those energies go and let them flow, and let the divine or the universe bring that person to you. Don't go seeking. Don't try to, he hasn't called me in 3 days, or he hasn't called me in 2 days, or let it go. Let the divine, let the universe bring those energies in when they're right. Because a lot of the times as single people, you don't realize that the divine or your creator is actually saving you or protecting you from something. And that might be not something physically harming, could be physically harming, but it also could be something that he knows your heart. And so he's trying to save you from actually, from heart, your heart having, he's guarding your heart is what he's basically doing. Because I'm sorry, but we all play games, unfortunately, and so in the dating game, men play a game, women play a game, and it's just like, at my age, it's like, stop playing games. You know what, we're too old for that, grow up. They say you're either a grown man or a grown boy, or you're a grown woman or a grown girl, and that is true. That is very true. If you don't know the difference, there's lots of videos on that, on mentoring, on that. But you want a grown man and you want a grown woman, because that means they're fully whole. They've done their healing. They've done their homework. They know what their role is, or what they want to in life, what their intent is in life, and the way that they want to be. And they know themselves, who they are. So, and that takes time and growing, especially if you're a young person. You're not expected to know who you are, but if you do, I give you kudos and a high five, because that is huge. If you're strong in who you are and believe, but don't be so strong that you're not flexible to understand somebody else's perspective, because that may keep you single for a long, long time. And that's your choice if you want to be that way. So for couples, this could be a good thing. This is a time where you're actually needing to work things out for the next couple of weeks. You're needing to look at each other. Thank you for the awareness of each other. And maybe dating needs to start to come back into your relationship. Maybe you need to be more aware of your partner, of what they're doing and what that partner is doing, so that you can actually rejoin and remeld and get that romance back in your life. And if it's not even romance, just spending time together, taking a walk, sitting by a river or a creek, or just getting out in nature. A lot of the times that is so healing, even just for a couple, just to be able to spend time together, drive together, and words don't even have to be said. They just enjoy each other's peace and quiet, and their spirits, the energies are interacting. Even you can't see it, they're interacting. It's really actually cool. And these are things the divine is starting to show me. I love it. I've been asking for vision for a long time. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I am getting baby steps to be ready. But oh my gosh, the warmth and the beautiful love that is there, and these colors and energies that are just amazing. Just amazing. I wish everybody could see it. So, all right, guys, this has been the collective for August 15th through the 31st. Remember, we already have gone through the new moon on August 2nd, and the new moon, the full moon, the full moon on August 2nd. We get to the new moon on August 18th. So watch for the moon. Watch and pay attention to your energies from now until the 18th. So that's 10 days. See where you're at. Just sort of make a little log every day. How do I feel? And what did I do? Just to see where it is, and see where you're growing, and see how these energies happen through the waning times. All right. I enjoyed this, and there isn't any questions, which is fine. And I will talk to you. Actually, I will be doing readings again this next week for the week of the 17th, I believe. Yeah, August 17th. So I hope that you will come on. Please like, share, subscribe, and bring your friends. We are a new channel, and I would love to see you more. And anytime, you can always ask a question if you're in the chat. All right. And if you do subscribe, hit that bell so you can be alerted when I am on live. I do a lot of mine live. It's just time saving for me. But I do record some of them. Not very often, but some of them I do, just depending on. And I will be gone for a little bit. So when I'm gone, I record. So please like, share, subscribe, and bring a friend next time. I love to see you next week, and we'll talk to you soon.